You can sense the intensity as they await the arrival of the Tennessee team here at Cleveland Stadium. The number one undefeated Volunteers prepare to race onto the field. Everything is riding on this football game. So there's a special intensity, a special urgency. Here come the Volunteers. Wherever you listen throughout the world, it's football time in Tennessee.
What's going on, YouTubes? Bobby C here, aka Catfish, and I got BVD on with us, and we're going to talk some football and some basketball. The bad thing about our season is that we don't have much football to talk about, but there is a silver lining, and that is our men's basketball team is on fire. I want everybody wants to call in. I want to hear from you guys at 855-489-7623. It's cold where I'm at. I don't know about where you're at, but I tell you what, it's colder than a well digger's hiney here. And I've got my mentor, one of my closest friends, somebody I owe everything to on YouTube. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for BVD. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Catfish. I got a little bit of a cold with the sniffles here, but other than that, man, I'm just fine on this wonderful Friday night. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. So, is it cold there in Green Vegas?
It's getting there. It was, I think it was in the 40s today. Sun was out, so, not too bad. But tonight, it's supposed to be down there with that well digger you were talking about.
Well, we've got some football to talk about. How do you think, looking back, you've had time to digest what's going on with our football team. How do you feel our season went? Is there anything good you can bring out of this season?
I think there's, a few good things that you can bring out of this season. Definitely had time to digest it, and I just about threw it back up. But I think Jeremy Pruitt is on the right course in Knoxville. I think he's what we've been needing here, a disciplinarian. And I think his discipline and the way he talks to his players and coaches and the way he handles them, I think will weed out the guys that we don't need or want on this team. As far as what did I see this year that I liked, in spurts, our defense, there for a couple of games, our defense was playing lights out. And then all of a sudden, last two games, the wheels come off. But I think the Missouri thing was obviously just a bad matchup. They scored a lot of points on a lot of teams this year. Vandy, I don't know what to say about them, Catfish. We just haven't had any luck with them the last several years. So as far as positives go, I'm going to go with A, the discipline, and B, Butch Jones is not here. Those are two very positive things about Tennessee football this year. Sum it up, I think we finished about where everybody thought we would.
Well, every time I check Bleacher Report, and I check it every morning when I get up and throughout the day, and I cringe a little bit thinking we might be repeating our head coaching search for our offensive coordinator. Everybody, he was talking Hugh Freeze. I hear he's now the head coach over at Liberty. Anybody who's the big names now? I've heard this Browse kid out of Houston, but is there anybody else? And what do you think about our OC search? Do you have the same dread that I do every time I check the Bleacher Report?
Well, actually, Catfish, if you saw my video I did the other day, I have removed myself from this entire offensive coordinator coaching search. Philip Fulmer contacted me asking me if I wanted the job, and I said no. And he said, what do you think I should do? Should I let Jeremy make the hire himself or, do it myself? Or work together on it. And, man, basically, honestly, Catfish, I do not care. You know, if we get the Briles kid, he's definitely putting up numbers, and people are going to say, well, look at the schedule Houston plays. And all you can say to that is the teams that were put in front of him, he lit them up, every one of them. Yeah. The lowest scoring game Houston had this year, I think, was 34 or 35 points. So I don't have a wish list. I don't know of any big names out there, you know, that we're after. I think you and I discussed before you went on the kid. Yeah, he's probably not a kid. The guy from Alabama, the quarterback's coach, Enos. Him and Briles are the two names that I've heard all day today.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Sports Talk on WNOX seems to think that we'll have an announcement Monday.
Really?
But I'm with you. We'll wait and see.
Well, I just want them to I'd rather them take their time and make a good hire than feel that they've got to rush it, because we're not even in 2019 yet. We're 8 months away from any sort of football, you know, spring practice or, you know, suiting it up for the summertime. And I just want to have somebody that can be consistent, can get us some discipline where, you know, false starts killed us a lot at the end of the season. Just those little things and get our offensive line gelling together. That's really what I'm looking for. But, hey, guys, the phone lines are open at 855-489-7623. And I'm going to start shifting towards basketball in the 2019 season. There's a lot coming up for the Volunteer Roadshow in 2019. I'm ironing out the last few details of a new sponsor, Hound Dogs from Knoxville, and everybody in East Tennessee knows who that is. They're one of the bigger stores for Tennessee sports memorabilia, and one of the owners told me they even sell some Vanderbilt stuff. So you Vanderbilt fans that watch the show, you can shop at Hound Dogs and get you some of them ugly black and gold V's, hats, or whatever you want. But anyway, we've got a lot in store in 2019, and the phone lines are open. Are you ready to take some calls and hear from the callers, BVD? How about let's do it?
Absolutely. Shout out to Pop in the chat section and Herbert Bradford and everybody else over there. Real quick, to finish up the OC thing, a couple of people in the chat room here mentioned George Quarles. And for you that are listening that don't know who he is, he's a coach at Furman.
Yep.
And he came from Maryville High School.
Yep.
And he was a fantastic coach at Maryville for years, and people around here used to clamor to see him come to UT all the time. And if he was our offensive coordinator, I would not have a bit of problem with that. But, yeah, let's see if we can get these people calling. We got 26 people in watching right now. It's not a huge number, but I'm sure they've all got phones.
Well, if you could watch the live chats and whenever there's a break, give them a shout-out for me, because I've got this phone board going. But I heard there's some rinky-dink coach, no-name coach up in Greenville that coached at Maryville, didn't he?
Yeah, this guy, Kane Ballard, I think is his last name. I know he's 40% state championship winner in his tenure at Greenville. And he's, contrary to what people saw out of Greenville in the regular season this year, Coach Ballard loves to run the ball. He loves, and that's what we need right now, is somebody, you know, that wants to grind it out. And obviously that's not going to happen. But since you brought it up, Catfish, you know, you opened the door, so you know I'm going to step in.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, we're going to go to the calls and see what we got. It's time to talk some basketball, and looks like Aaron Ross from Maryville, we're talking about his team, high school team. He's on with us. Let me hit this talk button. What you got for BVD and Catfish?
Well, I just want to start off by saying that I think that George Quarles would make an excellent offensive coordinator for Tennessee. I had the pleasure of talking to him several times and, standing next to him on the sidelines, and he is just an all-around good dude. But on to basketball, man, Gonzaga, they have got a hell of a team.
Oh yeah.
And man, Tennessee has played well this season. Their only loss was to Kansas, which I personally think Tennessee should have won that game. Kansas has got a good team, but I thought we should have had that. So, but Tennessee will have to play really well on Sunday to beat Gonzaga.
Is it Gonzaga or Gonzaga?
You're asking the wrong dude. Here in East Tennessee, we often get words wrong.
Yeah, he asked that question, Aaron, because we talked about this before we went on air, and I researched it, and it's probably one of the most mispronounced words in sports. Most people call it Gonzaga, but the actual correct pronunciation is Gonzaga. And a shout-out to my boy, Gate City Blue Devil, who's in the house tonight.
Yes, sir. What do you think about let me ask you a question, Aaron. I posed this question to BVD before the show. If you had if you could go back in time, would you, or let's just say somebody said you can have Bruce Pearl back in place of Rick Barnes. Would you take him back, or are you happy with Rick Barnes as our coach?
It's difficult to say. I see why Tennessee let go of Bruce Pearl, but I'm not saying that I would have. But when Tennessee hired Rick Barnes, I thought that was a very smart choice for a hire, and I thought that he would do some good things. And so far, he's not done anything that would make me retract that. I'm so far pretty happy with the job that he's doing. I think he's recruiting really well, and I think he's got us playing with the intensity that we need to play with. I've noticed in the last couple of years, though, that kind of falls off once we get closer to the tournament. You know, of course, last season, who was it? Some team in Chicago. I can't even pronounce their daggum school, but you know, we lost to them in the tournament, and I thought that was I just saw a lack of intensity in that game, and I'm hoping that that's not how Tennessee is going to be this year. I'm hoping that they can keep the same intensity throughout the entire season.
I don't know if you want me to answer that again, Catfish, because we talked about it before the show, but absolutely not. You know, hey, look, Bruce Pearl's doing a good job at Auburn. He's got them ranked. Let's see, he's got them ranked in the top 10. So they're going to be a challenge again for us last year. Of course, everybody knows we lost to them in the regular season last year. Man, Rick Barnes is doing everything right so far, and I think you have to say that it's a hands down no brainer. He is the best hire that Tennessee has made in the last. Probably since Fulmer.
Yeah.
Well, in any sport, I would say that he is the best hire Tennessee has made.
And before we go further, I've got a good friend of mine, a trucker friend, King of Cans, on here. He's got a crazy YouTube channel where he works on old cars and drinks beer on YouTube and does some live shows. We go way back. He's a trucker friend of mine, and go check him out. Hit the icon next to his name. It'll go to channel. It won't take you off this live stream, and sub him up. Now, if he says anything about me on there, it's probably a lie. You know how them trucker stories go. But Coop, I'm glad to see you in here. But I'm with you. I think Rick Barnes is the best thing to happen to Tennessee basketball in a long time. Now, Bruce Pearl did a lot for Tennessee. I still remember like it was yesterday when we went to Memphis, played number 1 ranked Memphis, and one of the best games in Tennessee basketball history. And I believe that was one of our first times, if not the first time, we ended up being ranked number 1 after we went there and beat Memphis. And they had some great players on Memphis. I think Derrick Rose was on there. But all that aside, I wouldn't trade Rick Barnes for anything. I think he runs a great program. I don't think we're going to get into any NCAA sanctions with him. I just think he's an all-around great coach, and I look forward to where he's going to take us. Now, I think we're going to beat Kentucky. We're going to sweep them again, but we don't play them until, I believe, January and February. But typical Kentucky, they'll get it together. They lost to Duke early in the season, but that's a tough game to play early in the season. But they'll get it together, and it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight when we play Kentucky. But that's our rival in basketball. Do you remember that Memphis game and all the feelings and how big that game was, BVD? That was great.
Oh, that was amazing. Before I talk a little bit about it, shout out to Shane Bentley, Catfish, in the chat section. He
Yes,
just
sir.
super chatted you.
Yes, sir. He's
and
a good
if you
one.
want to read that, before I answer,
Yeah,
you can.
let me go up there. It said, here's to the Dogs demolishing the Longhorns and fast-forwarding through basketball season because basketball doesn't exist at UGA. Hey, you got rid of Fox. I forget the guy's name, but that y'all hired, but he's a good coach. But I want to know, are the Dogs going to pull an Auburn and not show up because they don't want to be there? They feel like they got jilted by the playoff committee. Shane Bentley, if you could answer that, I hope y'all don't lay a turd against the Longhorns and show them who's boss. But I tell you what, that's going to be a great game. But let me ask you something, BVD. I asked Couch Coach this, and I asked Law Tide this. How do you feel about the playoff committee? Do you think they got it right? There's a lot of Georgia fans that feel like they're one of the best four in the country, and you know that's pretty arguable. I can't really disagree with them. But how do you feel?
First of all, Catfish, yes, I remember that Memphis game. It was amazing, and then we blew it to Vanderbilt 2 days later, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But I think as far as the committee, I think they got it right, man. You know, look, when Georgia's playing at the top of their game this year, there is no question in my mind that they're one of the four best teams in the country. However, they've got 2 losses, man. You can't put a team in the playoff with 2 losses when you've got teams like Oklahoma sitting there with 1. Ohio State, I cannot stand those sumbitches. They're sitting there with 1. And especially the way Georgia choked against Alabama. And I know you got a lot of Georgia fans that watch your show, and I got a lot of Georgia fans that can't stand me, but facts are facts, and Georgia choked in that game. Any way you want to slice it.
BVD, you're right. I was going to mention that people always talk about teams controlling their own destiny and their rise to the playoffs, and I think Georgia's game was that LSU game. I think that's what kept them out. I think had they beaten LSU, even if it was a close game, and then they lost to Alabama and that was their only loss in the season, then I can't see how you couldn't put them in at that point, because I would say that a one-loss Georgia team who lost a close game to Alabama would be better than a one-loss Oklahoma team. And I think Georgia really shot themselves in the foot with that LSU game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh,
100%.
yeah. My only problem, Catfish, with this playoff is I don't think there's enough teams. If you're going to have a playoff, I think it should have been 8 teams. But I know what's going to happen. If there had been 8 teams, everybody would have been saying, well, we should have had 16. That's the way they do it. And whatever they're calling, Division II now,
yeah.
or like I said, whatever. But I just don't see how you can take a 2-loss team in a 4-team playoff when you've got that many teams, that are either undefeated or 1 loss. Notre Dame, of course, they could have been ranked 10th going into that last weekend, and Georgia loses, they're going to jump everybody and get in there. And I don't know. There's always going to be an argument when it comes down to this, especially if it's your team. Personally, I don't understand how Tennessee was left out of the college football playoff this year, but hey, I'm just one man.
I agree 100%. We got robbed, but I've been back and forth on this 4-team, 8-team playoffs, and the argument for a 4 or against an 8-team playoff is that diminishes the games in September. You can afford a loss more with an 8-team playoff. in September and October than you can with a 4-team playoff. But anyway, let's get back to Tennessee basketball. Aaron, before I go to the next caller, what's your prediction for this Gonzaga game Sunday? How are you feeling about it?
Gonzaga.
Like I said before, I think Tennessee is going to have to play their hearts out. I think it's going to be a game that will either come down to the last couple minutes of the game or come down to an overtime situation. And I think Tennessee, if I got to put a score on it, I think Tennessee wins 82-80.
Wow. Well,
in a fight.
You know, the last 2 times we played, and I was just reading this, and it kind of jogged my memory, but Rick Barnes' first year, we were down by 16 and battled back to take the lead for just a minute and ended up losing a close one. And then last year, I believe, we were down by 21. We battled back to take a small lead and lost a close one. I just hope we rewrite the script. I mean, we took Kansas, the number 1 team in the country. A lot of agencies, sports rankings have them number 1 right now. We took them to overtime. Now, we should have won that game. I realize Grant Williams fouled out, and that hurt us a lot. But we just got to show up, and this can really put us on the map. A win like this can really put us on the map. And but anyway, BVD, could you go over the rankings you were telling me about before the show? They were the CBS rankings. Who do they have number 1, and where do they have us?
Well, CBS has Kansas number 1, and I actually didn't check the date on that poll, but it's the first one that came up when I started searching college basketball polls, and it had Tennessee 4, and I'm pretty sure somebody in the chat room maybe can look this up and correct me, but I'm pretty sure that was their most current top 25. Nevada, they had Nevada below us, and that's a team that's really hot, but I think they're going to lose this weekend to Arizona State. We shall see.
Well, one of the rankings I saw earlier this week had us at like number 6 or 7, so I don't know how current that is. But anyway, Aaron, I appreciate you calling, and I'm going to go grab another call. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're gonna go to the 629, and you're on with the legendary BVD and Catfish. What you got for us?
How you doing, Catfish? Catfish, it's the Vols General.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm doing good. So what do you think about this OC search? Looks like it's trending towards Browse. What do you think about that?
Well, I just, like I said early on, I don't know if you tuned in, I just hope it doesn't turn into be a coaching search debacle like last year. I don't think it's going to. I want us to take our time and get the right guy and not rush. I don't want them to feel like they've got to rush because they keep announcing, I believe last weekend they said we were going to have an announcement by Monday, and BVD tells me they're going to announce this Monday, but everything indicates this Browse guy from Houston. I don't know a thing about him. Could you tell me something about him? I know he's at Houston, and he's lit it up, and he's a young kid relative to two old farts like BVD and Catfish who are just a year or two away from the senior discount at Denny's. But what's going on with him? What do you think?
Sorry, what was that? Who?
Browse.
Browse, look, they're going to interview him. It might have already happened. Not sure, but I really think that's who Pruitt is going to turn to. He's got some baggage on him from when he was over there at Baylor. But how I feel about this OC search is whoever Pruitt wants, whoever thinks he will help him score points to win football games, whoever he thinks will help him win. And if that's who Pruitt wants, I don't care what Vol fans think. I don't care what the media thinks. That's who we should get, whoever Pruitt wants, and I really believe that's what Browse is.
Well,
Hey, Vol General, this is BVD. I agree with you. I don't really care as long as it's somebody that can help us out. Ultimately, it's up to these kids to put points on the board, and that's going to start with, like Catfish said earlier, cutting out some of the bonehead penalties. I think we had more false starts this year than I've ever seen in a season for Tennessee. Holding, you're going to get that every game. But it seemed like we had a lot of that, and I think that's just because our offensive line was getting beat so bad. At times, they didn't have no choice. They probably felt like if they didn't hold their guy, he was going to kill Garantano. So that's all going to start with getting some beef in here on the offensive line. And as much as I like our running backs, some beef back there that can run over people.
Well, I see Hoss 4107's in the house, and BVD, he says Urban Meyer's available. I love Hoss. He's one of the best Alabama fans out there, but that's crazy. We don't want Urban Meyer.
Hoss is one of the best people out there, Catfish.
Absolutely.
I've had the privilege of meeting him a couple times at least I can remember. And, he spent the weekend up here in East Tennessee with us several years ago, and Hoss is a class act.
Oh, yeah.
You ever want to talk about class on YouTube, you'll not find anybody that fits that bill more so than Hoss. And I miss Hoss doing videos.
Me too,
really
dang
do.
it. Everybody put in the comments section, say, Hoss, get back to doing YouTube. I mean, he's got great music taste. He does some good videos.
Oh, yeah.
He's chopped me up a few times, me and you both up a few times in his videos, but that's what makes YouTube so great.
Indeed. We love you, Hoss. Good to see you down there in the comments.
Well, why don't
Is there a question in there somewhere?
I don't know. Why don't you go through and do a shout out to everybody, since you can do it easier than me, and we'll come back to the Vol General. If we don't have another call, we'll cut this thing short.
Well, do it as long as you want to, but it looks like we got Alan V, Slim Mosley, College Football Talk, Russ. I'm not even going to try that. The last name looks like Moranier, but I'm not. Russ, correct me in there. Let's see, Hound Dogs in the house, Joshua Simmons, Dennis Wilson, some cat named Volunteer Roadshow. He keeps commenting every now and then. I don't know if I said Shane Bentley or not, but we got a few people in there.
I saw
amongst themselves.
SCC Dog. He's followed me since I started last year. He's a good Georgia fan, one of the best there is. But anyway, what do you think about this basketball game coming up, Vol General? What do you think about the season and Rick Barnes?
Rick Barnes, he was an elite hire when they first went ahead and hired him. That could have been that. I couldn't really think of a hire that would be better when it comes to someone who's willing to come to Tennessee. A rebuilding process. He's done a great job. He turned a team that would struggle to 500 into an SEC champion team. And for the game coming up on Sunday, here's what I think will be the difference. Tennessee and Gonzaga, two elite teams, but here's the difference. Gonzaga, they played Wednesday. They were going at it with Washington, and they almost lost that game.
Mm-hmm.
The final score was 81-79. They only won by 2 points.
Last second shot, too.
Tennessee's rested. What?
It was a last second shot, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That is what I think will be the difference. Tennessee's coming into this game rested and well practiced. Gonzaga, they just came out of a dogfight with Washington. Give me the Vols 88-81.
Wow. Well, I hope you're right. That'll really put our program on the map. Everybody slept on Tennessee at Auburn last year. They're not going to sleep on us this year. We're going to have everybody's best game, including Kentucky. That's going to be probably two of the best games in all of college basketball this year, and I just can't wait. I mean, we're going to come back and talk some football. I'm going to have Mark Rogers from Mark Rogers TV on maybe next week or the week after that. He has a great channel. He does work with ESPN and some of his He's done some local CBS affiliate. He was the sports director, and he does a great YouTube channel under Mark Rogers TV, and just got a lot of guests coming down the pike. So anyway, I appreciate it, Vol General. You've always been good to the Volunteer Roadshow, and keep calling. We're going to be chopping up some basketball in 2019 and maybe some recruiting. If you could come on and talk about recruiting that's coming up with signing day in February. And I just can't wait for March Madness to get here. So anyway, Vol General, I really appreciate it.
You too. Go Vols.
Go Vols. Well, we got a special guest coming up, BVD, one of your favorite people in all of the world, one of my favorite. We got Gate City Blue Devil on. What you got for your two buddies here, Gate City?
Hey, everybody. Just calling in to say I was wanting to actually touch on the offensive coordinator thing. The only person I've heard like up around my neighborhood was Dan Enos from Alabama.
Yeah.
And him and Pruitt's got a pretty good relationship and stuff. And I don't know, I'm kind of like BVD. I hope, they just use good judgment and get somebody good or whatever. But that's like the only person I've heard about. I mean, just the rubber mill around where I'm at, and it's not anything that's really been in the media that much or anything. So who knows, it's hard to tell. But,
we heard.
Why would you, unless you if you was wanting to build something, you'd have to want to really come in there and, but if him and Pruitt's got a good relationship, I mean, I'd say go for it. If that's, I don't care where they come from as long as they're good, So, and also I want to call in and say Merry Christmas to all the fans, SEC people, and
yeah, Merry Christmas.
Go SEC and all their bowl games.
Well, you know what I want for Christmas? I want for Christmas for me, you, and BVD to get to use those SEC championship tickets that your company gets to actually go watch our Vols play in the SEC championship game this year. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I got to go down there. I mean, it's the last time I saw them play, they lost. They played against LSU. They come out there in all orange uniforms, which I still have disdain for to this day, just because I'm associated with that, now mentally for the rest of my life. But yeah, I mean, we had a good time. That's one thing about it. When we have a loss, we still have a good time because we're just not going to be. We're a little more downtrodden now than we was then. That's kind of when the fall first started, or whatever, But you're true to gotta be true to Tennessee. And,
Gate City. A lot of people blame LSU for the downfall of Tennessee. I know the Alabama folks want to put it on Philip Fulmer, but I'm in the LSU corner. I think it's LSU that's caused all this.
Yeah, it was LSU. That was the start of the downfall, and it was just a domino effect after that. Man, I was at the Wyoming game. I was at that loss. I was, that the whole for me and just witnessing it was that SEC championship, that last one we lost. That was the start of everything going sideways, man.
Do you remember who was playing quarterback for LSU that got hurt that night in that championship game?
Yeah, I know, man. We knocked that guy out. When his back had come in and wore us out, and I was kind of ticked off because it seems to me like I was kind of kind of dirty individual play on whoever it was. I'd have to go back and look at the tape on that. I mean, you bring up some memories there.
I think
because I remember sitting there thinking, I thought, well, that was real good because we was actually handling that other guy pretty good. You know what I mean? And we weren't prepping. This other guy was a different style quarterback too. I mean, yes, thank you.
Yeah, I think he was from Haiti or something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, I remember that. Golly.
He was a big dude, too.
Yes, sir.
Like Freddie Kitchens for Alabama. I think that's what Alabama needs is another Freddie Kitchens.
I think he came in for – was that the game he came in for Jamarcus Russell? Was that – am I thinking right on that?
No, Matt Mock came in for Rohan Davey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I tell you what.
Go ahead.
Gate City – you're inviting me and BVD next year. I'm going to try to get to come up there. I got your text where you sent me the text with Jerry Glanville. Man, that looks like he would have been a bunch of fun up there in the VIP skyboxes. I can't wait to go up there and rub elbows
Yeah,
with
because
all
when I
those
was
guys.
describing, like the people I had met, when I was describing the people I had met and people that my brother Bud had met and stuff like that, man, Pat Summitt had visited our box up there back in the day. Peyton Manning's been inside there. I mean, the BVD seen the pictures. There's pictures of the late owner, me, Fibers up there with Peyton and a friend of his, And like I said, we're just like BVD knows how it is. I mean, we're just you good old East Tennessee down home
BVD.
folks or whatever.
What was it like?
Skybox,
What was it like, BVD, to meet the legendary Johnny Majors up there? Was it just like you thought it would be? Is he the same person you thought he would be? Tell me about that encounter.
Well, it was actually, I always thought it would be kind of surreal to meet Johnny, because you hear him talk. I've heard him talk my whole life, and you can't help but crack up at the way the man talks. And of course, in person, he's just like he is on video and TV. The man loves to talk, and I swear I believe he would have sat there and talked all night with me. I don't know who he was talking to, but he was sitting at a table, him and
Bob
another
Maynard.
gentleman.
He was talking to Bob Maynard, BVD. Okay. Yeah, Bob Maynard.
They were sitting there talking.
His name on the video.
And I just sat there and waited for him to get a break in the action, so to speak. And finally, I was like, man, I'm going to end up standing here all night if I don't go over there and say something. And I did, and I sat down, and shook his hand. And when I mentioned his mom, that's when I believe he would have talked to me all night. But yeah, man, it was just like, to be honest with you, it was just like meeting somebody else that you've known, just about like when I met you, Catfish, to be honest, just like meeting another good old boy. Yeah. And I'm sure Gate City's talked to Johnny up there before, because his box must be on that floor, because he's been there every time I've been up there with Mini Fibers, which, by the way, I can't thank those guys enough.
Yes, sir.
That'd be an amazing company to work for. So I know Gate City's enjoying the heck out of that. Bunch of class guys and gals up there.
Wish I could get some Catfish coming up there, load some stuff and haul it out for us, but all our stuff's customer arranged.
Yeah.
And that's something else I want to tell you, too. I always wondered what CFI stood for, and I couldn't have seen it stated in a more eloquent and nice-looking script on the side of your truck.
Was that nice?
Right.
Contract freighters. Yeah. CFI. You got the special CFI stickers on there, and I never knew what CFI stood for until I saw it on the side of your truck. So I'm proud to know that's how I learned it. And it looks great, too. That's what I'm saying. First time I saw it, I was like, oh, that's what that meant. Okay. I always wondered what CFI stood for. But, yeah, I was wanting to tell, but what BVD was talking about with Johnny Majors, growing up watching the Johnny Majors show, man, I always chuckled at him. I just kind of got tickled at him, because he was homespun, and, he was also a hell of a football player,
Yeah.
Who was it knocked him out of the Heisman? Oh, that guy from Notre Dame. What's his name? Pardon me. I'm sorry
Lou
about
Holtz.
that. Can't visit.
Lou Holtz.
No, it wasn't Lou. It's
no, it wasn't Lou Holtz.
Newt Rockne.
God,
Paul
Horning.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yep.
Well,
in case people have been wondering, CFI does not stand for Catfish Incorporated.
Yeah, Catfish is not two words. But anyway, meeting Johnny Majors has got to be a highlight of your life, and I'm sure it would be of mine. Meeting him, BVD, you'll probably carry that to the grave. But I wonder just how much that rift is still, if there is still a rift between him and Philip Fulmer. What do you think? You think there's still a rift? Because it was real.
I guarantee you Johnny still can't stand him deep in his heart of hearts, unless he's just the ultimate Christian, and as Christians, we're supposed to forgive people no matter how bad the deed is. But I guarantee you, if I was a betting man and we could find out for sure, and you could get Johnny in private and say, okay, Johnny, tell me, do you really like Phil? He'd probably call him Fat Boy again.
I remember that.
Hey, if you want some proof of this catfish, just look at Lane Kiffin's Twitter or Instagram or whatever it was. He posted that picture with him and Johnny Majors. He was down there, gets down Florida for something, but he stopped by one of his either practices or a game. I don't know. But Lane Kiffin posted a picture of him. Johnny Majors said the greatest Tennessee football coach ever. So, that's a jab at Fulmer and everybody. And Johnny's standing there grinning like a possum, So, yeah, I'd say so.
BVD, was that you that sent me a YouTube clip of some Knoxville TV station, news station, catching Johnny Majors in the parking lot after they fired Philip Fulmer and tried to get a word or a comment from him?
Yep, I believe what he kept saying. Now of course it just left me, but it was funny. He would not answer the question.
Yeah. It's almost like he wouldn't mention his name.
Yeah. He said, my tale is told. I've said what I'm going to say, and that's it.
Yeah.
The guy still kept trying to poke him and get something out of him.
Yeah, you could tell.
Bobby Knight. If Johnny Majors had been Bobby Knight that night, that reporter would have probably got punched right square in the face.
Oh, yeah. Well,
my tale is told.
Gate City, I really appreciate it, and I look forward to next year. I'm going to bring the new Volunteer Roadshow studios to K-Town, and we're going to do some live shows from Hound Dogs. We've got a lot in store, and I'm going to go to a game with you next year, come hell or high water, and I appreciate the call. You've always been a good friend of BVD's and mine, and I just love you to death, buddy, and thanks for calling.
Yeah, man, like I say, when you do go to a game with us, you're going to park that rig right up there, mini fiber, so, we can have something beautiful sitting there while we're going to the game. Because we got the big
They ought to let him
there.
park that rig right there in front of Neyland Stadium,
yeah.
Gate City.
Well, if he wants to lead the caravan where it's at too, but it's a lot easier just to step off the bus right there. I mean, BVD will tell you that, and just try to drive the rig down there. I mean, it'd be a great photo op, but...
Oh, yeah.
As far as going to the game, you need to drive and park there at Mini Fibers, then get on the bus with us and just ride. That's what we do. Just we get on there and then we got to carry the world back.
You just wait until Catfish reveals this rid. It's the one that I wanted. It's how I wanted his rig to look.
He revealed it, man. Didn't you see his post?
Yeah, I
did a post today.
But it still ain't done.
That's why I said I saw the CFI sticker. I saw the custom or contract freight ink or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I saw it today. That's the reason I was calling it. Yeah, it'll knock your eyes out. I go to the community thing on his channel there.
Yeah, but
you haven't done it yet in the video though, Catfish?
Not in a video. I've got two more things.
Yeah,
one thing you don't like, or you said you don't like, that I still got to do this truck, and something else that's just a surprise. Everybody's going to love it. I even had somebody private message me about 2 hours on Facebook that saw that on Volunteer Roadshow Facebook. And if you're not liking and following Volunteer Roadshow on Facebook, y'all need to. But they said, hey, I work for Tennessee. You need to contact them and haul the band and football equipment around town. Man, would that not be a blast or what? I could take BVD with me, man. That would be just awesome. I mean, I don't think I'll ever get that gig, but that would be a gig of a lifetime.
Oh, if you have
work is work, and that'll be the icing on the cake.
Yeah. What's that, BVD?
Look that up, Catfish. Look up UT's equipment trailer. That would look amazing hooked to the back of your rig.
Yeah, I need to look that up. Well, anyway, thanks, Gate City. We got a South Carolina fan, or I don't know if it's a fan, but somebody from South Carolina's on the line with us.
Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Okay, I will say bye to BVD. I'll see you there at the Christmas luncheon Friday, and go Vols. I hope they do good in basketball. It's not really my thing, whatever. I'm glad they're doing good. I'm more single sport like football, but I don't support them in anything. We get some basketball tickets too, so I'll be hauling at you.
Oh, that'd be great.
So,
yeah,
talk
take
to you later,
care, brother. We'll see you Friday.
I'll see you soon. All right, bye.
All right, we got time for one more call. You got anything before I grab this last call, BVD?
I was just going to tell the people, speaking of Gate City, for the basketball fans in here, there's a kid named Mac McClung that
Oh,
graduated from Gate City High School last year, and he plays for Georgetown this year. And the kid's amazing, and go check him out, man. He's a great kid too, just a parent's dream child, you know, and he's doing good things at Georgetown. But go ahead, Catfish, bring our caller on.
All right, let's see. You're on with the legendary and my good friend BVD and myself, Catfish. What you got for us?
Lord, what do you think I got for you?
Mayor!
Bobby Durkins!
How y'all doing? How you doing? BVD, how you doing, buddy? How you doing?
Bobby Maydair, I'm doing great, man.
BVD, I'm going to have to hand it to you. You got a world-class impression of me, and I'm going to tell you right there, you need to put that on a job resume. You'll be surprised what doors will open for you. Glad you're on here.
I thought about it.
Volunteer Roadshow, I got an idea. Listen, Bobby, here's what we need to do. We need to take that truck of yours down to Commerce Race Strip down there in Commerce, Georgia. Me and you pick me up here. We'll ride down there, pay for all the 75-cent coffee you can drink. We go down there, and I'm going to tell you right now, we see what that truck can do.
I know what it'll do.
You can clock it.
I know what it'll do. It's a little bit better than my last truck, and BVD has witnessed what my other truck could do.
I'm going to tell you, you got a winner there on your hand. Right there, you could fix Tennessee football with that truck by itself. Have you considered that?
No, I haven't considered that. Hey, have you seen the picture of the partial product of what I've got done on Tennessee and up my rig there? Have you seen it?
I saw that one picture you put on the YouTube.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm gonna tell you, that was impressive. I was impressive. It was like I made out with my first girl. It was pretty good. And I'm a Clemson fan. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I can't believe it took him this long, Bobby. He drove around all them years in a truck called Big Blue.
Well, you know what? You got to save up money. Unlike these young kids running around, got their drawers hanging around their ankles and stuff, walking around talking a bunch of crap I don't understand. They ain't got no work ethic. This youngin right here, he knows what he's doing. If any of you daddies out there is figuring out how to save up money, want to teach you youngins, look at Volunteer Roadshow. I'm telling you, you put off your pleasure for a little bit, and all of a sudden you'll be able to buy what you want. Good job.
Well, I tell you
Bobby,
what.
you ain't been paying attention. Catfish is getting that truck done with all the money he's getting from these super chats.
Oh, of course he is.
Hey,
of course he is.
Y'all don't even want to know what that Tennessee and up this truck has cost me. You could buy a really nice house for what I paid for this truck, but Tennessee and up, but it's been worth every penny. I haven't gotten a thing from insurance yet, but I'm hoping they'll come through where I can get out of the poorhouse and off of food stamps. But it was worth every penny of it. I think it's going to turn a few heads. I really do.
Oh man,
BVD, think about this. Think about this, BVD. You know how like you walk in some of those fancy hotels or maybe fancy airports, and they got television screens massive that turns into one massive screen running down the side. Imagine if we put that down the side of his trailer and he did a Volunteer Roadshow. He's riding down the road. Think about that. How amazing that is.
That'd be amazing, because you do see these people that drive around during election time. You know, they drive around with little trucks with moving billboards and stuff like that in the back of their truck. That's exactly what he needs to do, Bobby. But
Just the thought of that makes me piss myself.
I don't know what it costs to get that done, Catfish, but I know what one roll of orange pinstripe costs, so I can imagine.
Did you notice the checkerboard striping going down the side of it with the orange stripes? I had that. That's the part that everybody's gonna love. And then I'm gonna put that whale tail on the top, and it's gonna have checkerboarded up there. I just got a lot of I don't want to reveal everything yet because you're going to love this gangster visor I've got ordered for this truck. You're going to absolutely love it. There was about 6 inches that you could see out the front window. Well, it's about down to about 2 inches on this new visor. It is amazing. You're going to really love it, BVD. And when are you going on the truck with me?
Well, you know what the deal is there. I got to get my roommate straightened out so I can leave my house with him. That's one thing a lot of people don't know on here. When I get my house situated here to where I can leave it, I'm cutting the trail out of East Tennessee and I'm moving to Missouri or Kansas, either one, for a while.
Well, that'll be good. Well, anyway, Bobby, tell me what's going on with Clemson. What y'all got for Notre Dame? Y'all think y'all got anything for them? A lot of people think it's going to be a blowout, but I don't think they're going to blow you out, Bobby. I really don't. I think y'all going to give them a game.
Well, first of all, we're going to beat them. That's one. Number two, it's not going to be a blowout. I've watched Notre Dame. I've watched Notre Dame. This is one thing when my people hear my voice, they think I can't spell. That's partially right. They think I can't count. Well, I got all my toes, so I can count up to 20. The truth is, Clemson's going to win this ball game. And I want to tell you right now, if you think Notre Dame is going to lay down there right now, you got your Hail Marys backwards. These boys are going to come out. They're going to play hard. They're going to play. They're going to give them a game. And I'm going to tell you this. Us toning Notre Dame and Oklahoma is only going to fuel these boys to play harder. There's some of those players there that's never felt any energy in their entire life. It's just going to be like drinking some cocaine or something. They're going to come out and they're going to have something to prove. You got to be careful with that. But Clemson's going to win this ball game, and I'm going to tell you why they're going to win this ball game. This week, Pittsburgh's coach, and if you don't know this, Pittsburgh played at Notre Dame. Of course, they just got their balls ripped off by Clemson in the ACC championship. What a championship that was. And when he was asked, Narduzzi, he's got one of those names you got to spell with a Z. Narduzzi was asked, they said, you played Notre Dame, you played Clemson. What are they like compared to each other? His response was this. You can go Google it right now. Get on the Googler and ask Google. The gods of Google will tell you. He said this, and I'm not making this up. He said, it's not even close. He knows that Clemson's going to come in there. And Dabo Swinney, with that good old Southern Baptist look on his face, he's going to walk out there. He's going to shake their Catholic hand. He's going to say, I believe in Jesus. Y'all believe in Jesus and Mary. So good for y'all. I'm going to, after I walk back over here in just a second, BVD, this is powerful. You might want to sit down for this. Dabo Swinney is going to drop his drawers and take a good old country field dookie all over the Fighting Irish. And we're going to beat them by 10 points. Bobby Durkins. Boom. That just happened.
A country field dookie. I can honestly say, of all the great phrases I've heard in my life, I'm going to have to put country field dookie up in the top 10 somewhere. But, hey,
you're welcome.
We had the Catholics versus the convicts years ago, so what are we going to do, Bobby? Catholics versus the Christians on this one?
Maybe so. I mean, I want to tell you right now, Notre Dame's got a lot better football team than what everybody else does. And I ain't gonna take a bunch of time. I know you got to go, and BVD's guest. But everybody's all pissy about Notre Dame's not in the conference. They're not the conference. I'm gonna tell you right now. And I did video earlier, and I said this. I said, if you want to thank anybody for this whole best team thing that's going on, you always hear this now. You turn on Bid Network and you hear best team. Oh, people's trying to figure out who's playing their best football. Now, when this thing initially come out, think about this, BVD. First thing that come out when we talked about having a playoff, we're all jacked up, We're all jacked up like we had just stole our first card, We were happy because they said the thing. They said, what did they say, BVD? What was one of the first things they said? That you had to get into the college football playoff. They said you had to win your conference. You remember that?
Exactly.
Remember. And guess what happened, BVD? And Bobby, guess what happened? Then all of a sudden, Lord, we didn't even get the thing kicked off good until they go, well, we got to put Ohio State in. We got to put Ohio State's playing good ball. What? Yeah, we got to put them in. Okay.
2 years, Bobby.
worst thing that ever happened is when that happened. And then guess what? Last year, Alabama didn't even – I know they won national championship, and you're an Alabama fan, you're going to pull for them because you're an Alabama fan. I'm a Clemson fan. I pull for Clemson. Y'all pull for Tennessee. It is what it is, okay? But let's be honest here. Come on, think. Stop thinking with your butthole and the crust around it. The truth is, as soon as we started this thing of, well, best football, let me tell you what, if I'm Notre Dame, I'm going to sit up there and I'm going to keep raking in that NBC money. I ain't going to share it with the ACC, and I'm going to tell them until the day you make me win a conference, I'm not going into anything. And what that means is you have to win your conference, or you have to expand it to 8. But that's what I think. I've got a lot of people, screaming blue in the face to me saying, you're wrong. And I'll say, you can call my wife and enjoy her song to me. But I'm right. And I'll die right.
Bobby, they might be screaming blue till they're blue in the face because you got crust around your butthole.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. True, BVD. True. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you think you wipe good enough, but let's be honest with ourselves. Just between us and the Lord, you don't. You're in a hurry. So there we go.
Can you say stream going south?
Stream going south. There we go. Well, hey, listen, I know y'all got to wrap it up. I just want to call y'all. When I saw BVD was on, I always like to call in and talk to Catfish. I saw BVD was something. I said, Lord, I got to call up there. Y'all did good. Y'all did good. You basketball people look good. I'm not much of a basketball guy.
Before you go, Bobby, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Some people question if I'm all here, but
somebody said in the comments they want some spiced tea from your grandma's jars there. I don't think it was tea, it was coffee. Did anybody get botulism this Thanksgiving from Granny's pantyhose and spiced coffee?
Oh, the spiced coffee. Well, let me go ahead and tell you, it's kind of like when you go over to another country and everybody's used to the dirty water, but you're not, and they look at you and they say, whatever you do, don't you drink that. You have to be weaned into it. But no, it was a glorious time. She's dead now, but we still use those pantyhose. It makes us that tangy taste in the coffee makes us jerks a tear in my eye. I'll put it that way.
Let me tell you, boys, something. Over in Sumatra, they're making coffee out of tiger turds. I don't want to know where Bobby Durkin's grandma's coffee came from.
Oh, Lord, not yet. But I'm going to tell you right now, tiger turds, that right there is my segue into we win the national championship here. I'm telling you, it's happening. Tiger turds and all.
All right, Bobby.
Right up for that one, Bobby.
Thanks.
Y'all be good.
Thanks for calling. Speaking of coffee, you can't beat Pilot Flying J. Half Colombian, half house blend with a bunch of creamer, no sugar because I'm on a diet. But, man, this is good stuff. But anyway, BVD, you got anything before we wrap this road show up?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on there, Mr. Catfish. And I'm going to scat on out of here by saying Tennessee 77, Gonzaga 70.
I like your thinking, buddy. Well, anyway, y'all know what's coming next. It wouldn't be a Volunteer Roadshow show without ending this way. Thanks for tuning in. Go Vols. The Tennessee men's basketball team's going to kick the dookie out of Gonzaga, and we're going to the Final Four. I promise you that.